All right, guys, what's up? Joined today with a very special guest for the 50th installment of the Playing to Win series. Tristan Tate will be pulled in a moment. He's a pretty solid dude, and I've had a few conversations with his brother, and I did a podcast on his. I gotta mute this over here. I got some background noise on his God mode, which he'll talk about. He's launching that pretty soon. But yeah, let's just hop straight into this and bring in the talisman himself. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up, Rich? How you doing?
Good.
Glad to be here as always.
Yeah, you guys are in for a treat today. You guys are in for a real treat. It's always
Yeah,
it's always interesting to talk to one of the Tate boys.
yeah, and
Um,
we've done literally zero preparation on this as well. So I'm ready for any question that you are going to throw at me. Any question anyone in the audience is going to throw at me.
I
I'm
did
an open
I
book.
did write down a few notes. I know this looks blank on the screen, but it's a red
Okay,
pen.
yeah,
But yeah, anyway.
yeah.
Let me kind of frame who Tristan is real quick, so you guys get an idea. Because I know there's some of you that are probably watching, going, "All right, well, who's this guy? Is he a dork? Is he cool? What's he all about?" Let's just throw up your Twitter feed because this is just a random. I mean, today's Thursday. This is a random Thursday
Oh,
for
today,
Tristan.
yeah,
Um, you know, the tweet opens up with a hand on the neck, and you can see the watch there. And I'll let
yeah.
you read that.
She tweeted that yesterday. She's a Romanian porn actress
Yeah.
who's
And then
a
we've
very
got,
close friend of mine.
Tristan here saying this actress is pretty hot. She gets the official talisman thumbs up. Hey, Simps, am I doing it right? Hashtag Simps.
Yeah,
I
no,
figure why not start with that to sort of set the tone for.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a good one. And obviously, I mean, if you don't get the joke, look at the tweet closer. The hand around her neck that she tweeted, and me giving the official thumbs up. It has the exact same diamond Rolex watch. So either coincidentally, the guy who she bangs in her spare time because has the same watch as me, or it is actually me. That is the joke. Everyone gets it. But yeah, it's not that I don't have any involvement with the adult entertainment industry. I don't run porn actresses. I don't have any kind of agency like that. The thing is, if they're hot and they live in Romania, they're going to end up on my radar at some point. So TV presenters, actresses, singers, a lot of the Romanian porn stars, not just her, in their spare time, they hang out with guys too. They're looking for guys to fuck in their spare time,
Mhm.
and I'm just that guy. And just for the record, if anyone thinks I'm paying them money, just get that out of your head. Get
Well,
that out of your head right now.
do people often challenge you that and say, "Oh, he's just paying for them, or he's paying for all those girls"?
Well, it's like this. A friend of ours, actually, Troy Francis, said this recently to me. He goes, "Look, all these girls are looking for, guys to fuck in their spare time. I'm 6'4". I'm a multimillionaire. I'm smart. I hang out at the nice places. I drive the nicest cars. I live a lifestyle that everyone wants to be part of. If they're not fucking me, who are they fucking?
Mm.
These little geeks on Twitter and these tiny little nerds will be like, oh, he's paying them because they'd have to pay the exact same girl. This girl in the actual photo, she used to work for me for 3 years as a webcam model, actually. So she's a former employee of mine and a good friend of mine who I've known for about 5 years. 2 years ago, she quit webcam modeling and moved into the porn industry. I wished her luck. But, she's taken a break from that for the last 7 or 8 months. She hasn't shot a boy-girl scene. I think she was tweeting about that very recently. And she was in Romania. She called me, asked what's up, and, we hung out. That's it. That my history with her is a very long friendship. And if anyone were actually in my face, life or death, challenging me as to whether or not I paid her, I could literally just show them the conversation that I have with her, going back, here's, oh, how's work? How's this? All good. When you're next in Bucharest,
When you say
That's it, so.
friendship with women, do you is it the same kind of friendship that you've got with like your male friends, your brother,
No,
your cousins, the guys that you travel with, or is it a completely
no,
different kind of friendship?
no, 0%. When I mean friendship, it's like this. People always say, and I will use a derogatory word to describe women. I do sometimes. People always say, yeah, I've got my main chick and I've got my side chick. But they don't really understand what a side chick is. A side chick is just another main chick. A side chick is a fully blown loving relationship where she's completely loyal to you. She'll do anything you say. She is your girlfriend. She tells her girlfriends that she has a boyfriend. It's you. She doesn't talk to other men. That's what a side chick is. So you have your main chick and you have your side chicks. Most people have hoes and they'll be like, oh yeah, I've got side chicks. No, you don't. The kind of girl who isn't really yours, you'll see once every 2 or 3 months. If you're in the same place at the same time and you're bored, you'll go to bed together. That's not your side chick. She has nothing to do with you. She's just a hoe. She's like one of those wild Pokemon that you encounter sometimes, but you never truly catch. So when I say friend, it's a more polite way of putting it that way. I mean, this girl literally, I last saw her over a year ago and she's been shooting porn scenes, etc. I don't count her as my side chick or my main chick or a chick of mine in any way. She's
So when you
nothing to
say
do
friend,
with it.
it's along the same sort of context where when you see two
Yeah.
lawyers in court and they're opposing counsel, and he'll say "my friend" sort of thing, just to
I
sort of be.
I don't have platonic female friends. The
Okay.
closest thing I have to platonic female friends that exist, the only women I will speak to and be completely platonic and friendly with, are the girlfriends of my brother and my cousin and my guys. That's it. Those are the only females I will speak to and not.
Is your life similar in a sense to a guy like Dan Bilzerian? I mean, he's far more public and he's got a bigger reach with the Instagram thing, and he made that happen a number of years ago. But I mean, you're a guy that I can reach out to. Like, I've got you on WhatsApp, I can reach out to you and say, hey, what are you up to, sort of thing. But I feel like your life is like his, but I don't even know if it's at another level. Like, I feel like you guys live better, to some regard, because the way that you have no apologies to anything in a different sort of way.
There's a debate with Dan Bilzerian. There's a debate whether he was legit, whether he's not, whether it's dad's money, whether he's
Do you think he's
actually
legit?
rich himself. I hoped he was for a very long time, but finding out that when all these stories came out, that he's a big fake, but people have written bullshit about me too. So I did my research, and when it all came out it was fake, it kind of upset me because I feel like I like people like him existing to give that message to, I live how I want, I fuck who I want. I'm not going to get tied down. I'm not going to get divorce raped. I just put my dick in whichever model I like, and everyone could leave me alone and I don't apologize. I like that being broadcast to the world because I actually think it's a healthy message for a lot of young men to hear. And it's something that a lot of young men need to know is possible. So it's not like me finding out Santa wasn't real, because I don't fucking idolize him. I don't idolize anybody. I'm a self-made man. I live in my own world. But at my level and my brother's level, you have to understand I've met women and fucked women who have been to his house, who have been to his parties. So I know his setup. His setup is he contacts the model agencies. They all sign NDAs. She shouldn't have spoke to me. I'm not going to name drop her. Mm-hmm. They all sign NDAs. They get an allowance. They get their flights paid for.
You can't rely on a woman signing an NDA to keep her mouth shut, can you?
Exactly. Clearly, obviously not. They get an allowance, a weekly expenditure. Now, he doesn't actually pay them for sex, but they're flown in. They're paid for. They're given money to hang out with him, and he does fuck some of them. Now, that's very different from my setup. Typically, my setup was, for many, many years, I would approach women and meet them and seduce them in the old-fashioned way. And within a few months, they were earning money for me to make me richer, either on Webcam or a platform like OnlyFans or something like that. So I see myself on a higher level because I distinguish the difference between being a customer and being a provider of the service. I'm the guy who gets money because he has women, not the guy who spends his money to get women near him. But I liked the message he was spreading out there. Is my life similar to his? I don't know. He is the king of Instagram. Good for him. I mean, he's a big boy on Instagram. I'm about 300 and something thousand followers. Each time I get new cars, etc., it jumps by 10, 15,000. I will climb up there eventually, but that's not why I'm doing it. I don't post as often as I should. I don't take my Instagram as serious as I could. A lot of the fun things I do aren't on my Instagram. If I took it more seriously, I think I could be bigger. But my life is certainly amazing. I haven't lived this life.
How do you distinguish what part of your life gets to be shown on Instagram versus what you reserve to be kept private?
Well, it's all down to I don't care about my Instagram audience. For me, it's how much trouble is this going to cause me? So in the last episode of Take
with other women or with the authorities
in general, but usually with other women, with people. I mean, there's last episode of Take Confidential, mine and my brother's kind of YouTube vlog where we just sometimes whip out our phones when we're doing shit and we edit the footage together. I was on a camping trip. We rented these big tents in the Transylvania mountains, kind of glamping more than camping. Mm-hmm. But I was with 3 different women. Now, all the women who know me know who these 3 are. And after that episode was released, it was all, oh, why didn't I get invited? Why didn't you bring me? I'm like, because you don't like her and she doesn't like her. And it's chess and it's politics. And it gets me in trouble. So that's what I think about before I post things on social media. I don't care about my audience and what they'd like to see. Mm-hmm. I think, is this going to get me in trouble? Is this going to cause me unnecessary headache and unnecessary grief? I want to keep my life happy. So I'm happy having all the pictures of the women, all the pictures of me partying with girls in my phone. And I don't need to show anybody. I just don't. Like, it's not why I do it.
Do you think that there's a chunk of the guys out there that purport to hold out to the public that they're authorities on women and dating that are full of crap? That aren't?
I think this is a slippery slope I'm going to go down. But
slide down it, man. Slide down it.
Yeah, man. There are,
let's go down the rabbit hole.
There are people who I think can teach certain things to different calibers of men. But in terms of just having it nailed, in terms of what I refer to as living in God mode, like I can't have as much sex per day as the number of really beautiful women who want to have sex with me. I don't have that many hours because I'm busy driving supercars and doing other shit. This is why I describe my life as God mode. It's unlimited resources, essentially. And I think it's very easy to on the internet, because so many men are in a horrible position right now. So many men are living lives where they're failing with women. They're failing on the sexual battlefield. They're failing in the sexual marketplace. They have no clue that it's very easy to be a pretender. I mean, I'm a martial artist. I come from a kickboxing background, and there are some gyms, especially in the United States, they're referred to as McDojos, when someone doesn't know how to fight, doesn't know karate, doesn't know kickboxing, doesn't know taekwondo, but he's teaching other people how to fight. And, because it's very cool to have men look up to you and be like, yeah, this guy's a badass. They don't want to put in the years of hard training. They don't want to do the actual work. They just want people to admire them as some sort of authority on something that's badass. And whooping people's ass and having sex with a bunch of beautiful women is a badass thing to do. And on Twitter, it's very, very easy. I mean, don't even get me started on anonymous accounts. Rivellino, like, are you joking? Bro, the mask slips occasionally. He once bragged about having sex with 7 different women in 5 years. The mask slipped off. And you saw for a second underneath, like 7 in 5 years. I've literally done 7 in 48-hour periods of time. And for him to be an authority that people listen to, it just goes to show the state of men as a whole is lost. It's terrible for these people to be authorities. They're all fake. 90%. 90%.
90%.
The guys who claim to sleep with beautiful women and bed beautiful women, 90%. Now, there are people like Rollo Tomasi who, and Rollo talks shit about me sometimes, but, let me tell you something. I have friends who will be like, I was married and I read his book and his book saved my life. Mm-hmm. I haven't read Rollo's book, but I've read one actually on audiobook. But I don't need the work of Rollo Tomasi. But when people who I respect say, yeah, his work saved my life, I mean, I'm like, you know what? Cool. That Rollo guy obviously knows something. But Rollo doesn't run around saying I fuck all the pussy. This is why I don't have anything really bad to say about him. But loads of guys claim that they do fuck all the pussy, and no one shows receipts. No one is like, here are all the women I'm sleeping with. I mean, you just pulled up one of my tweets. I used to run that anonymous account where every day I was tweeting the women I slept with.
Yeah, that was a very small following there too, and I was privileged enough to see all of that.
I've still got that I've still got that. I run an Instagram account now that has no followers and it's private. But each time I sleep with a new woman, starting at this year, I just upload a picture of her for myself because it makes me happy to see it. And when you're playing at my level, 90% of the guys out there claiming to date women, sleep with women, meet women, pull women, they're all fake. No one's showing their cards. No one's showing their me and my brother had the analogy. We're saying if we're fishermen and we all talked about fishing all day long, me and Andrew are the guys on Instagram with our huge catches, weighing them, saying, this is my fish, this is my fish. Everyone just talks about fishing all day. Where's everyone's fucking fish? Where are the pictures? Where's the evidence? It's mind-blowing that these guys still can have such a large audience showing 0 receipts. 0, not even 1.
Anon accounts are dangerous,
the worst,
and often quite deceptive. I mean, why are they hiding? Why can't we see what's going on? You see it in all kinds of different genres out there. It's not just in spaces like this too, right? I mean, you see it everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, you know the answer already. You know the answer. Why can't we see them? Because what they are saying they do and what they claim to have doesn't exist. Illimitable Man is Tell Your Son This is world renowned for his
I've been blocked by a lot of those
guys.
Yeah, I've been blocked by a lot of those guys because I called them out on their shit.
Yeah,
not as much as you guys. I mean, you guys destroyed that guy with like 1 week of material, I think, right?
Yeah. The Geordie guy.
No, Tell Your Son This guy. That guy.
Tell Your Son This,
because he was chasing one of the girls that was in your cam studio or something. Was it? Or was that the Geordie guy?
No, well, it's both of them. Oh, okay. So, and there's a few names. I'm not going to do it. But very recently, a couple months ago, one of these, I'm a playboy, I'm this, I'm that, who doesn't tell anyone his real identity, with the exact same email address he uses on his mailing list, etc., had signed up to an OnlyFans account and was tipping one of my girls' money. So you know who you are, my friend. This beer's on you, I guess. Thank you very much. But you need to get off the internet telling men that you know how to get laid, because I've read your messages and they're really fucking sad. They really said, Rich, you know what? Fuck it. Do I say his name? Do I just tell you?
You know what?
Do I
Just send it over to me on the WhatsApp.
I will.
Yeah, do it. Because now I got to know.
Give me 1 minute. Give me 30 seconds. Ask your next question. I'll track it down.
What is more important to you, cars or girls?
I think it has to be girls, doesn't it? I mean, it has to be girls.
I feel like Andrew's the car guy and you're the girl guy.
Yeah, we both like. Wait, here it comes. This is him sending me a $75 tip, and I did all the verification. I don't know if you know who this guy is. He's quite big. I mean, 10,000 something followers, but he has courses on how to meet women, etc. Here we go.
Do you know who that is? Yeah.
Do you know? Yeah.
I do.
Now I've got the messages, the tips, the this, the that, and I don't dislike him. I don't want to put it out there, but why are you teaching that you know how to get women when you're bored and horny on a Saturday night? You're signing up to OnlyFans models and talking shit to them. Like, I don't get it.
With that stuff, that's dangerous because, I mean, there's a lot of guys that put themselves in a position of some serious exposure, and you could cause some problems for guys like that. I mean, you're a gentleman for not doing that.
Because his and you know what? His brand is over if I put that out there.
And that's just one of the guys, right? Like
that's one. Yeah.
Like I've seen a lot of guys exposed in different ways and senses where they've been proven to like hire prostitutes and they brag about a notch count, or they brag about having serious frame, but then there's a phone recording of them getting their ass kicked by their girlfriend or something like that.
Yeah, I know.
It's popped up over the time.
I think that's one of the reasons me and Andrew are so hard and so aggressive out there is because, and I seriously fucking mean it, I have no skeletons in my closet. If one of these women, because I retweet women who I fuck, famous women, big women, porn stars, whatever it is.
Well, hell, half no fury like a woman scoring, right? So, they would.
And if one of them, all it takes is one of them to say, yeah, Tristan paid me $500.
Yeah.
That's it. My brand, who I say I am, the image is shattered. You know, reputations take years to build, and seconds to shatter. But it's not going to happen. So I don't mind calling everyone out. I don't mind talking shit about everybody because it's not going to happen. I haven't got any secrets.
Yeah.
People ask me, Tristan, did you have a hair transplant? Yeah, my hair was thinning. Like I just tell people, what I do. Do you have kids? Yeah. I'm going to tell you their names, but I have kids.
Yeah.
Like, fuck everyone.
We'll talk about stuff like that too. Yeah. So I want to go back to the car and the girls thing. You guys have a lot of toys. What kind of cars do you have right now? Because I mean, I lost count after about like 10 or a dozen.
Yeah.
I feel like you've got 20 or 30 now, and you've got a few on order too.
We have, if everything that I have on order showed up tomorrow, I would have 28 vehicles.
Right. And on order, I know that Andrew just ordered a 765 LT Spider, and you've got a Bugatti Chiron on order as well, right?
And Aston Martin Valhalla. They're only making, I think, 60 of those. That's on order.
Valhalla, is that race car with the ground effects and the little LED lights on the back?
Yeah. And
how are the Aston Martins, by the way? Because I've only driven a older DBS, like the James Bond from Casino Royale. How are they? Like, are they fast cars? Are they more of a GT car? Like, how does it compare to the Lambos and the GT?
They're much slower. They're GT cars, but I'm a big guy. They're very, very comfortable. I love the sound that they make.
Yeah.
They're just sexy. I like everything about them. My Aston might be my favorite car, and my BMW M5 is faster than my Aston. Like the Aston's not a super sports car, but driving it. I was with our mutual friend. I don't know if you know him actually. I don't know if he's a mutual friend, but Sterling Cooper.
I know Sterling well.
Yeah, he was driving through the mountains with me, and my brother was in the McLaren 765 LT, incredibly fast car. My friend was in the Porsche. We lent him my Porsche, and I was in the Aston Martin. So I was in front trying to get away from these other two cars, which is an impossible task in the car that I was on. But the fact that it's on the edge all the time, it's an exhilarating, fun drive, even though you're going slower than some other vehicles. And he loved it.
Who's a better driver, you or Andrew?
Andrew will say him. You know what? Andrew will say it's him, but I like to be safer. Let's just say that. So the world might say it's him because he'd do a trap time faster, but I just don't want. I don't get any extra adrenaline by almost dying. That doesn't do much for me.
How would you describe the difference between like the Lamborghini Huracan and the McLaren 720? Or the 765. I think you got rid of the 720, right?
Yeah, but let's talk 720, because 720 is an amazing car, and 765s they're quite new. A lot more people are familiar with it.
It's like a 720 turned up to 11.
Yeah, the 720S is one of the funnest cars in the world. Have you had any reliability problems with yours?
Just bullshit, like sensors, the air brake sensor doesn't go down. Yeah, just random stuff. But the car, the car mechanically is very sound.
Yeah, good. I had the same thing. It would, like, the electrics would go off and they would go into limp mode for no reason. But that's one of the only reasons I got rid of it, because the Lamborghini Huracan is an amazing car, but you couldn't crash that if you tried. You could flick around the corner, slam the wheel, it will straighten itself out, even if you let go of the steering wheel. I can't explain. It is impossible to crash. It's like riding a motorcycle with a sidecar on it, you know? The McLaren 720S will let you crash. You could crash one of those if you made a mistake. So it's a lot more of a visceral driving experience, because you could very easily fuck up in a 720S and end up in a fireball, which kind of makes it fun. You know, if you're, I've done it a few times. The amount of power in the back wheels, you know, it's slightly damp outside, maybe a bit cold. You're turning the corner. You go to accelerate out the corner before the wheel's totally straight, and you almost spin around in a circle. Like, it's a scary experience. So they're for better drivers, I'd say. When I see young guys be like, yeah, I made money on fucking Bitcoin, or it's always a crypto dork. I'm buying my first supercar, and they start asking me like, oh, should I get a McLaren? I'm like, so wait a minute. So your first car was a Volkswagen Golf. You had that, and now you want a McLaren 720S. Okay, yeah, I'll see you at your funeral. Just get a Lamborghini, get a Ferrari, get something more usable that you can drive without having an insane skill level. You've had supercars for ages, and you went from the Audi, and now you've got the McLaren 720S, and you know the McLaren's harder to drive, but you've driven a powerful car before.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's hard mode. Yeah, it's supercars on hard mode. That's what the McLarens are.
And what about the Ferrari and the Porsche? Like, how does that compare to the other supercars?
Porsches are the best, mechanically the best cars ever made. They're not as sexy. They're not as loud. They're a lot more boring looking. They'll turn fewer heads, but mechanically they are the best cars ever. You
guys don't have a Turbo S in the stable, do you?
No, we don't yet.
A friend of mine's got the 991 Turbo S, and he had a software tune and downpipes done on it. And I swear to God, Tristan, I sat at a light once and I said, let it rip. And I just looked over at the front wheel of the car, and the fucking car wheelies. Like, the front wheel comes up in the air when he launches it, and it's gone. Like, I can't catch it until, I'm not going to say the speed I was doing, but like throw you in jail type of speed. But after that speed, that's when the 720 is faster than the Porsche.
Yeah,
the Turbo S is unbelievable.
Yeah. The McLaren off the line is always going to struggle, because it doesn't put the power down fast enough. Yeah, but when you're rolling, if you're rolling on the motorway, even if you're going 50, 60, 70 miles an hour, and someone tries to come past you, there are very few cars on Earth that will
there was a short clip I think you guys put out somewhere on social media. Andrew was driving the LT, and I think you were in the Huracan, and on the highway, it just left it like it was a Jetta.
Yeah, and literally, and people will be like, really? You put your foot down? Oh, did you change gears at the right time? I'm like, motherfucker, I've been driving a Huracan for 4 years. I know when to change gear. I was actually driving it. I was driving fast, and it's that quick. Yeah, it is actually that fast.
Yeah.
McLarens are going to get much, much better. Is it true that Audi's bought them, or is that a rumor?
Yeah, there was a rumor that Audi wanted to buy McLaren for, I think, the Formula One tech to get into Formula One racing. I think it would be a good thing for McLaren, but from what I understand, they vehemently denied it because they weren't happy with the offer or something like that. I'm sure it's coming, because Volkswagen did great things for Ducati. They did great things for Lamborghini. I hope they do buy McLaren, because they'll hopefully hash out the bullshit, lights that go off and stupid technical things.
Nothing made in Germany. Nothing with German engineering is gonna have stupid faults like that.
Yeah.
So but that's the only reason I got rid of the McLaren 720S, reliability issues. But it was one of the funnest cars I think I've ever driven. It's like a go-kart.
Ferrari, because you guys have a Superfast too, don't you?
Yeah, the A12 Superfast. That's a very impressive car. It's a GT when you want it to be, but because it's got rear wheel steering, it corners like a much shorter, pointier car. Do you know what I mean? So it's a very
rear wheel steering.
It does. So it's a very strange driving experience. It's really long. You're in the cities, parking it can be annoying. GT, very, very comfortable, very big. You can just hit the motorways and just cruise. You're not going to have any back problems like I do with my Lamborghini. But when you do start hammering it on the mountain roads, it feels like it shrinks by 3 feet somehow.
Yeah.
It's quite miraculous, and I do like the Ferraris.
Somebody,
it's the first Ferrari I've driven that I liked.
Somebody asked me, what I thought of the differences between the R8 and the McLaren, and I got rid of the R8 a few months ago. I actually took a nice profit off it. Everybody's always like, "Oh, you don't know anything about cars. You're going to lose money." It's like, yeah, bitch, I made 25 grand selling that thing.
Exactly.
But they asked me at the time, like, what's the difference between the two cars? And I said, you know what, the R8's a pleasant 7. The McLaren's a cunty 10, basically, is the way that I would boil it down. It's a bitchy 10.
Yeah.
It's a far better car, but it comes with
all
issues.
Sorts of drama.
Yeah, it comes with drama, basically. Yeah.
No, completely true. But man, what's your opinion? There are people. So here's, people talk about, having girls and blah, blah, blah. And I call those guys fake all the time. I've started to call all the crypto guys fake, all the people who say that they've got money, because there was a meme 5 years ago, when Bitcoin first started creeping up from 3,500 during that ice age. Mm-hmm. Bitcoin was rising, and everyone was putting the hashtag when Lambo. When Lambo. It was a meme that the crypto guys spread fucking everywhere. And all these guys who talk about money were like, "Oh, crypto's up, when Lambo." I'm like, even if you had 5 Bitcoin at $3,500, you'd have a Lambo today, surely. No one has a Lambo. And it's not about having an actual Lambo. But now that no one has supercars, no one's showing their financial receipts, it's become a thing to criticize guys with supercars like it somehow makes you poor. People be like, "Yeah, I know rich guys and they don't buy supercars." I'm like, well, who's buying the Bugatti cost 4.2 million euros. If rich people aren't buying them, who's buying them?
Yeah, I don't understand that trope or that soundbite that these guys come up with, like, what a waste of money, or just buy a Tesla, bro, or some shit like that. It's like, dude, you don't understand. I mean, if you don't like fast cars, then go sit in your corner and shut up and mind your own business, because it's not a conversation that I want to invite you into, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a whole like when Lambo, this, that, and the other thing. But it also drives you to the idea of, why is the used car market, like, why is the supercar market so overly inflated? Like, for the first time since I've been following exotic cars, like, I think the 12C was the first McLaren that came out, and they were notorious, for depreciating very, very quickly. And I wasn't expecting to make any money off the 720, right? Like, I figured, I'll buy it, it'll be a loss, whatever, it's just fun. But the value of even McLarens have gone up now, right? Like, I don't know what it's like in Europe right now, but here, I think I paid $280 for it, but it's worth like $320, $325 right now, and I've put 10,000 kilometers on it.
Well, right? The thing is this: the value of currency, and this is something that my brother talks about a lot. The inflation is out of control, and people will be
6.2%, I think.
Yeah, and people will be posting these things about, well, this is the price of a turkey 1 year to another. No. You really see the power of inflation, the power of currency getting weaker and money getting much, much weaker when you own expensive things like Rolexes, McLarens, Ferraris, because everyone with money is just buying them because they know that the $300,000 that they're buying them with, give it 4 or 5 more years, is going to be worth so much less.
270.
That the cars, the dollar's depreciating faster than the McLarens. That's what's happening today. So,
So there's your pro money tip: convert that money into supercars.
Absolutely. Buy a supercar. And you know what? It's not just a money tip. Let's pretend I was, and no. We don't even have to pretend. I was once 26 and a half, and me and my brother bought an Aston Martin with our joint funds. And at the time that we bought this car for £80,000, our total bank balance was around £80,000. Now, people call us insane. Now, when I buy a supercar, it's like, it doesn't matter anymore because our trajectory was going up. But at that time, I was like, look, Andrew, we're making money. Our trajectory is going up. We're going to be able to,
Was that in the webcam days, in the early days?
Yeah, the very early days. No, it was the very early days of the webcam days. I was like, look, Andrew, I think we cracked the code. We're going to make more money, but we've got 80,000. Do we really spend 80,000 on a car? And we both came to the same conclusion: is if it all went wrong, if we lost everything, we're two dudes. I can't remember exactly how old I was, 25 and 26. Driving around in an Aston Martin. We're at 25 and 26, we had supercar money, and we legitimately purchased ourselves an Aston, and that's cool. That's a very cool accolade to have. So it's not just financial advice; it's fucking life advice. If you could buy a supercar, fucking buy one, because you only get one spin around this planet. There's no point waiting until you're 76 years old and you finally cash in your 401k, and then you could barely climb in and out of your Lamborghini. Because no one gives a fuck then.
Yeah, you don't want to be driving that car when you're old, man. Trust me.
No. Yeah, do it while you can.
How does owning exotic cars open up networking opportunities for you? Because this is something you guys must have a lot of experience with, you know, with the garage that you have.
Well, massively. I mean, online, all the car guys, what you have to understand about the people who run the car channels, the car bloggers, the car influencers, etc., most of them don't have any cars. So when rumors circulate that I bought the Aston Martin Valhalla, when rumors circulate that I bought the Chiron Pure Sport, they're all hitting me up. You know, people with millions and millions of subscribers. Hey man, can I test drive your car for my channel? Blah blah blah. And now I'm saying no. I'm saying no. Look, I'm big enough on social media. I don't need a bunch of car nerds following me. And plus, what, I'm going to be in your video? No, you're just going to borrow my car. Why don't you go fuck yourself and buy your own? Yeah. So it opens up doors, but I slam them in a lot of people's faces because I don't feel like I need them anymore. But in terms of networking, I mean, man, if I didn't have the war room, the number one networking way of networking is supercar meetings, is supercar clubs. It's a way to get together, and you guarantee, not everyone is rich, not everyone's a multimillionaire, but you're guaranteed to meet people there that can at least afford to buy a $100,000 car. So you
don't even need a Ferrari or a Lambo or a McLaren. I think that you can get away. I mean, from an entry level point, if you're a younger guy, you don't have that much money. I think you can get away with like a Porsche Cayman or like a Boxster Spider or something like that. It's enough
nice
of a
Mustang,
car that
maybe.
Yeah, like it's enough of a car that they won't tell you to get lost. But you know, they may not spend as much time with you or invite you to come sit at their table when you guys are having dinner, sort of thing.
Exactly. Now the Bugatti, I'm going to be invited to. Bugatti have their own events.
Yeah, they have
their own events. Right? And if you read there's that stupid thing that goes around. Oh, the average Bugatti owner has 3 planes and a yacht and this and that. I don't have a yacht. I don't have 3 planes. I don't have a lot of the stuff that the other Bugatti owners have. But I'm going to be sitting at the same table as them. Yeah. So if you think that's not a networking opportunity, and plus Bugattis have historically never ever lost money. People are like, oh, it's 4.2 million for a car. Yeah. And if I come to sell it, I can sell it in one day, by the way. It's going to take one phone call to sell that car. I call the one guy who sells them in Europe, and he has buyers lined up. Mm. And if the worst case should happen and it doesn't go up in value, it's my 4.2 million again. It's just parking the money somewhere. Mm-hmm. That's it. So I'm not going to lose money on it. But the networking opportunities that open with that are going to be insane. They're going to be
I've often said, I mean, you don't want to be the smartest guy in the room, right? If you find that you're the smartest guy in the room, get out of the room and get in a better room. So you can put yourself in a room with guys with 3, 5. I mean, this is God mode sort of stuff that we're talking about here, but you can put yourself in a room with guys that own 3 jets and a $70 million super yacht because it's a Bugatti event. You guys aren't there yet, but you put yourself in that room that allows you to network, right? There's a pro tip there for you guys. I mean, just distill that down to whatever level that you're at. This is just the Bugatti level now.
Precisely. And even inside of the war room, I mean, everyone's like, oh, Andrew Tate runs this organization. Yeah, he does. And it's an amazing organization, but he's not the richest man in the war room. I think we're not even in the top 10 richest men inside of the war room. There are guys in the war room with net worths of 500 plus million. There are real big fish in that organization. And it's not just Andrew, you know, with people who are below him and his fans and stuff. You know, business deals are struck between dudes who are above me and dudes who are above them inside of that organization that don't have anything to do with me. You know, which is a very cool thing to see happen. But you don't want to be the smartest man in the room.
Let me just throw a few of these up here before I lose track of them. Dragos says, "Who was it?" Can't tell you, bro. It's confidential. F22 says, "Rich and Tristan, would you date a woman like Ronda Rousey or Misha Tate?" Who's Misha Tate?
She's a UFC fighter who follows me on Instagram. Okay. We follow each other on Instagram.
Like muscular chicks do nothing for me, and I put this on Twitter at one point, and a bunch of nerds try to run me up the flagpole, like, you know, like over the whole, like, I don't like women with abs. I want a feminine figure. I want an hourglass, boobs and butt. Like, that's what I'm attracted to. I don't know. Like, what do you think about these like muscular fighter chicks?
Well, I completely agree. I've dated a few of those fitness kind of influencer chicks. They're not really it's not my go-to. It's not my MO. I've dated a few, but these fighter chicks, it's not so much their bodies that I find unattractive. I think the want and it's something I understand very well. You have to understand the want and the need and the desire to go and prove yourself in physical combat, get your face smashed up, get your nose broken so it's bent like mine. It's such a masculine trait. I don't want that around me. I like feminine energy. I like a woman who knows she's weak and scared and respects me and makes my coffee and makes my tea. I don't want the woman here next to me punching a punch bag. Like, that's not going to make my dick hard at all. So no, I don't find those type of women appealing. Really, you know, it's just not my thing.
My buddy Nick's in the chat. One of my friends bought a 720 in March. It's been at the shop 70% of the time. Best alert yet. Limp home.
Yeah, just like mine. Limp home is because it says limp mode on the dash. I feel your pain, brother. And it's some people get lucky with them. Rich, you've been quite lucky with yours so far. I have a friend in Poland, really big car guy.
Yeah.
He has a 720S, never had a single issue with it. Some people.
It wasn't too bad. Like I mean, I'll kind of expose it because I did a video the other day on the total cost of owning the car for the first season. It was 20 grand, but 14 odd thousand of it was probably went into the glass panels because I had to replace them both because they cracked. And newsflash, they cracked again very shortly after I had them changed, but they're under warranty for a year, so I'm going to get them done in the spring. But for the most part, mechanically, the McLarens are very reliable. Transmission, engine, it's just the bullshit sensors. Like I remember, I was on a rally and my girl closed the door, and then this thing kept flashing on the dashboard. I'm like, I had to bring it back to the dealer for an oil change or something else. And I asked him about it. Like, oh, well, the sequence for the car is you have to start the car, then you close the door, because if you close the door before you start it, it doesn't know that it's like, really? Like who's the guy that was like drunk the night before working at McLaren that like coded that?
Yeah. It's very stupid. It's very stupid.
Bizarre.
And, 70% of the time, that was what mine was like, though. I remember of the year, McLaren told me it was of the 365 days, it was in the shop for something like 250 of them.
Yeah, and you don't have a McLaren dealer in Bucharest, do you?
No, we don't. So we have
Germany.
It's the only one we don't have. Bucharest has everything from Rolls-Royce, Lamborghini, Bentley. It just doesn't have McLaren. I've got to ship it all the way to Germany, and it's a headache.
What about the LT? How's that car been for you?
It's been so far so good. The LT I have now, I've sent it to Germany for an upgrade because I'm getting the carbon hood and the carbon wing and all the carbon packages, because of the convertible I'm getting has all that carbon stuff
matches it. Yeah.
So I'm switching over to match. So you'll see the new photos of the LT.
Is it true that they canceled the glass panels on the roofs of the 720s because too many of them were cracking and they had to replace them under warranty?
Maybe it might be. It wouldn't surprise me. I've never heard it, but that definitely sounds like the truth.
Does the LT coupe that you have, does it have carbon fiber roof panels, or are they the plastic ones, or are they glass?
They're glass, I believe.
Oh, they are glass.
I think they're glass. I can't. Okay. I literally only drove it about 10 times before I sent it back, and I can't go outside and look right now.
See, that's an interesting problem to have, because I mean, you could ask me anything about one of my two cars and I'll tell you anything about it, but when you got 20 plus cars, you forget about them. Yeah,
honestly, I was like that. I will drive some of my cars I haven't driven in a while, and someone will go to open the door, and little things that change in every car, like how to unlock the door.
Yeah,
is it on the steering wheel? Is it up here on the roof? Is it down here? Is it on the right? I'll literally be in my own car looking around like this for the button to unlock the car. Yeah. I just reach over and push the door handle.
Yeah, it's frustrating because every brand lays things out differently, right?
Slightly different, yeah. So indicators and transmission and stuff, you always get the hang of, but the little things, the little buttons like opening the trunk, like you forget that. You forget with all the cars I've got, I forget it all the time.
Yeah. How did you guys get started? I think it was first fighting, then it was the webcam girls.
Look, webcam girls were mine and Andrew's big break, and you can't make
it wasn't fighting
money.
Then.
No, I mean fighting makes some money.
Yeah.
And Andrew, especially, was a very successful kickboxer, 4-time world champion. His belts are sitting right behind me right now.
Yeah.
But the most he ever got paid for a fight, and he says this openly, is 50 grand. By the time you pay your trainer and your manager 10% each, you got to eat, you got to train for 12 weeks. I mean, if you work out the hours you put in, you're making $15 an hour. Like it's not amazing money.
Right.
And but kickboxing and being who we were physically, and we were always very out there. We were always very good with women. That's what helped us, because you can't just come along and start a webcam studio. Women aren't just going to go, oh yeah, I'll come get naked at your house for money. Like, and keep in mind that the women that we'd hire for webcam modeling, people are disillusioned. They think that like I drive around the streets, the avenues, and pick girls up off the boulevard and said, come on, I'm rescuing you. You're doing this now. I mean, I'm talking girls who worked in stores. My best ever girl used to work in a bathroom store selling toilets and baths and showers, like normal ass girls. And to convince them to come,
like you went in to get towels or something like that, and you saw her and you just started chatting her up, turned into a date, and then you made her one of your girls.
Sometimes, yes, not with that one particularly, but you'd find on dating apps, and just the same way you'd hit up any normal girl. Because when we started the studio, broke or not, it's why I don't accept people saying women only like you because you're rich. Yeah, some women are attracted to the fun lifestyle I have. But when I was flat broke, me and Andrew had lots of girlfriends each. And we told all of them, okay, now you're webcam models. And half of them broke up with us. Half of them left straight away. And the other half became our first batch of webcam girls. And a couple of years later, we were millionaires. So that was certainly financially our big break. And then it takes money to make money, they say. We've done plenty of other things since making our first million that have put us on Bugatti money.
So aside from the webcam girls, what else contributed to the Bugatti money? Like the big things.
The big things. You know what? I won't say the two biggest things. I won't say the two biggest things. But the third biggest thing was cryptocurrency. And it wasn't that I was one of these guys with so much foresight and so much genius and so much tech savvy intellect that I was like, oh, this cryptocurrency, it's amazing, it's good, it's that. I just liked how easy it was. So I was buying Bitcoin when they were $3,000 with my webcam money, tens of thousands of dollars of Bitcoin. My net worth would be half of what it is if I'd never invested in cryptocurrency. But at the time, I didn't see it as an investment. I was in a world where the people I was dealing with took crypto. It was easier for me to take their crypto than to take big bank payments. And it just all fell into place. So that certainly doubled my lender's net worth. But anyone who knows anything about us can do the math and work that out.
Yeah, and you guys have dabbled in not just Bitcoin, but quite a few other cryptocurrencies too, right?
Oh, and yeah. When I say Bitcoin, I mean cryptocurrency as a whole. I'm keeping it simple for that. But inside of, I'm telling you, inside of the war room, some of the calls that have been made inside of the war room. I mean, if you look up Solana, it's a cryptocurrency I had never heard of. One of the
when did you get in on that?
I got in at $9.
Yeah, you
and one of the war room guys who had read the white paper.
I was like all about it. On that one.
Yeah, exactly. He shielded inside the war room. I mean, that made me half the money of a Bugatti as it is. Just that one little.
How do you? So let me ask you this question for the people watching, because I think this is a good conversation piece. How do you establish where to go pile in money when it comes to cryptocurrency? Because I mean, you don't dick around with like, let's throw 1,000 at this and 3,000 at that. It's like, okay, you want to make, I'm assuming, like game changing money. You want to turn 50 grand into $1 million, right? Like, how do you decide where to, because 50 grand for anybody, especially somebody that was not born with a silver spoon in their mouths like you guys, at some point, I'm sure you both remember being poor, right?
Oh, of course.
How do you decide where to throw like, 50 grand into? Like, how do you
I'll
take
be honest.
that risk?
I'll be perfectly honest. And this is, and I will happily give all the credit to some of the guys inside of the war room. We have a dedicated crypto room in there. For those who don't know who the war room is, it's a let's say it's a network. It's a networking organization that is owned by my brother. I'm just a member like anybody else. But there's a crypto room in there with some of the smartest crypto minds in the world. People who launch ICOs, people who launch their own coins, people who are huge in the mining industry. Guys in Texas who are some of the biggest Bitcoin miners in the United States. I'm not going to say any of their names, but they exist inside of the war room. And when they say, I believe in this coin because X, Y, and Z, here is its use case, here is this, I'd advise going in. I'm now at the financial level where I can literally just read that and say, okay, let's go in 100K, 150, 200K. I went in recently and I don't know how badly this is going to age. UOS Ultra. UOS Ultra, my friend had heard that Bethesda game studio had teamed up with them, and that was going to be the token used inside of Bethesda's games. And even I, who don't play video games, know who Bethesda game studios are. So I went in for 200K just recently, and crypto's dipped now, but it's still worth 220, 20K in the last week.
Where do you like hold your crypto to deal with minimizing tax liabilities? Like, is Romania a tax-friendly country for crypto, or do you put it somewhere else?
Well, I would never discuss how I hold my crypto on the internet because it's just bad practice.
I'm not saying the public information, but like, country-wise for like tax liability reasons.
With the crypto I have, in Romania, I have actual businesses. I own casinos. I pay all the taxes that are necessary for my casinos. The Romanian government and the tax authorities are all very happy with me. Everything is completely above board, but I will say publicly right here, right now, I store my crypto in a way nobody can steal it. So if anyone's watching this thinking, oh, this guy has a bunch of crypto, let me find out this about him, you're not going to find my crypto anywhere. So it's all very safely stored. You need physical keys and you need to go to physical banks to get hold of my crypto. So yeah, I'll just put that out there in case anyone gets any smart ideas.
Do you think that it's the best store of value today?
I think it's the easiest store of value. I
I'd
think
agree with
that
that.
I think if you're a kid and you're you have a few $1,000 and you're living in the middle of Wisconsin somewhere, where the fuck are you going to go and buy gold from? Like where's the gold store in Wisconsin where you're going to go buy $3,000 worth of gold? Then what are you going to do? Hide it under your bed at your mother's house?
Mm.
Like anybody could set up some two-factor authentications and some little wallets, etc., on their phone or their device from home and be very, very safe and purchase crypto, hold it, sell it out when they need to. It's the easiest store of value. And then they can send it across the world. They can send it to China in 1 second, $10 million if they want to.
Bingo.
Yeah. So it's
Do you see it
it's
as a currency, or do you see it as a like Michael Saylor calls it digital real estate now? I don't know if you heard
yeah,
his breakdown
I
on that.
have. I have. I
Yeah.
have. I can't see it as anything but money because I use it as money.
Hmm.
I use it as money. I mean, this in places like Dubai, where they'll take crypto. This watch was literally bought with crypto. I literally sent them. I don't know if it was Bitcoin or Ethereum. I can't even remember. Or I sold it for USD Tether, I think, and just sent them USDT for the US dollar value of the watch, and then I went and picked up the watch. I use it as money, so I can't see it as anything but money.
Gotcha.
Yeah, my tailor on Savile Row takes Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Huntsman Savile Row take Bitcoin.
Yeah,
So.
if you're not taking payment from your customers in cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or Ether, you guys are losing out. Definitely consider that. Random question, Tristan, what's your hair loss protocol? Are you for or against finasteride? Mad respect to you and Andrew.
I don't even know what finasteride is, my friend. I don't know what it is.
That's the pill that you pop that lowers your DHC that's supposed to keep your hair from falling out.
No idea. Never heard of it.
Okay.
I'm pro anybody doing anything they like as long as it isn't a lazy way of doing things. I mean, if guys get like those implants in their biceps to make their arms look bigger, I think that's gay. You should be doing some training. If your hair is falling out, do what you want, bro. I don't know. There are fucking get a transplant, inject your head with those. I don't PHP. What
PRP.
PRP.
Platelet-rich plasma.
Yeah. If your hair is falling out, do whatever you want to fix it. I mean, that's on you. I don't know. I don't care. But I'm very against anything that I consider cheating. That includes steroid use, pectoral implants and shit to look like you have muscles. But if your hair's falling out, if your teeth are all missing, fix your teeth.
Like you've been vocal on social media about steroid use. So I'm on therapeutic testosterone, obviously, because I'm close to 50 and I don't have the levels that I did in my 20s, and I want to maintain that muscle mass.
Well, that is something I will do when I get older.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, is that something that you would consider when your natural levels start to decline and you can, like if you're here and you're down to here in your 40s, but you can bring yourself up to here and feel like in your early 30s, like, would you do that?
Well, time is the fire in which we all burn, right? Women get those fucking facelifts and straighten their faces out and raise their tits up, etc. Yeah, for men, as long as you're maintaining yourself naturally, working out in the gym, etc., there's nothing wrong with keeping your testosterone level high. And I guess I don't want to sound... I've been called an elitist by friends of mine for this, because I have friends who are, now quite jacked, little short dudes. They're quite jacked, my age, etc. And I say, steroids are bullshit. They fuck with your dick. They, it's not good to be taking all the stuff you're taking. And they look at me and they said, yeah, Tristan, but you don't understand because you're huge. And that hits me here because I'm kind of like, if I were 150 pounds and 5'3", would I see things differently? It's easy for me. I'm 6'4". I'm 260 pounds. Like, of course, it was something like that. Yeah,
you're a big boy.
Dude, so it's very easy for me to be like, oh well, don't take steroids, etc. I just don't want to do anything that fucks with my dick. I need my dick. It makes me money, literally. Yeah. The women who work for me and make all this money on OnlyFans, if I'm not keeping them happy sexually, what the fuck? They're just going to leave and go work for someone else. So yeah, I need my penis to work. So
Chad Faust, Aston Martin Repeat or Ferrari FF? Those are 4-seater cars for those that don't know.
Yeah. Neither. If I wanted either of them, I would have them. And my answer to you would be, why do you care which one I would prefer? Why don't, and this isn't a dig, I'm not having a dig at the guy.
Yeah.
Why don't you just buy the one that you like?
Buy the one that you
Why
like.
does my opinion matter? Buy the car you like, bro.
What do you think of Teslas,
I don't want
by the
either
way?
of them. I think they are...
There's a lot of Tesla bros out there that I keep hearing, you just get a Tesla, bro. It's way cooler.
Super, super boring. And no girl dreams of getting fucked in the passenger seat of a Tesla. It doesn't exist. No girl gets excited.
Can you bang in an exotic car though? Because I've thought about the 720. I'm like, it's not happening, man. Like I'm close to your height.
You could get your dick sucked.
That
does work. That does work. That is about it. But no girl's gonna be like, oh wow, nice Tesla, get your dick out. It's not gonna happen. So
so let me go through some of my questions here because we're coming up on the hour, and I wanted to kind of keep it around 90.
I have all the time in the world.
Historical figure for dinner, not a family member. Who would you invite?
Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte.
Why?
His mindset. I like his mindset. One, everyone's like, oh, Napoleon Bonaparte, but they know.
Have you studied him? Have you read his stuff?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So what do they know about him? They know he got beaten at Waterloo. They might know his fleet got defeated by Nelson at Trafalgar. They might know a few little things, but they don't understand the nature of the man. You see, I've read his memoirs. If you look into the way he thought, it was just, you know what? All of Europe is mine. It's mine, and I want to take it. I want to take all of Europe. Oh, you're going to put me on a little island and fucking put me in exile. Okay, cool. Well, actually, no. I'm going to come back and then raise another army because Europe's mine. I need to have all of Europe. It belongs to me. That level of insane ambition reminds me of my brother, actually. Everything's mine. I want everything. I'm going to take everything. Yeah, maybe that's why. But yeah, Napoleon. Very fascinating character.
How do you and your brother work out? Because I've got two younger brothers, right? And you know, one of them, if you guys watch my channel, I've posted a link to the debt business because my my younger brother runs it now. There was a time where we were apart for a good number of years, right? Like my family moved back to the UK because I was originally born there. They moved back to the UK when I was about 21. My two younger brothers went back. They were still in school. I was there for 4 or 5 months. We lived in Kempston. I was there for 4 or 5 months, and I looked around. I was like, fuck this. I was surrounded by single moms with like 3 different kids from 3 different fathers, bullshit jobs. There's nothing going on. I didn't have my motorcycle there. It was back home and stored. I was like, I'm out. I'm gone. And then they stayed there for about 10 years. So there was a period of time where we didn't see each other that often. And now they're both back over here, and we're a lot tighter. But you guys are about a year apart, right? Like a year and a half apart?
A year and a half.
How do you guys get on? Like, are you like this? Like, how does that work for you when it comes to business and life and women and all that?
We get on extremely well. Extremely well. I don't know. I find it weird to hear that brothers don't get along. And that's the norm. Everyone's like, oh, I have a brother, but I don't know him.
Yeah,
I have a brother, I don't speak to him. And for me, it's super bizarre because I can't imagine not getting along with my brother. We don't even argue about anything. I mean, our arguments are just like, Jesus Christ, when's the last time we even disagreed on anything? No, we're of one mind and one goal. And as long as
what's the goal?
The goal is to live a life that is incomparable to the lives that most people get to live, and to die happy surrounded by my 20 kids and 50 grandchildren. That's my life goal. Because people be like, oh, well, where does this go? And then what? And then what? And then what? And then you die eventually. So why not squeeze every single bit of juice out of this lemon that is life? You know, take the good with the bad. Just live in an insane way that people look at my life and they're like, are the Tate brothers? If you Google Tate brothers, some of the suggestions that come up, are the Tate brothers real? Are the Tate brothers actors? Are the people don't even believe that we're real sometimes? So that makes me
right.
happy.
I've never looked. Let me have a
it's check now. There's a lot of people watching this.
Are the Tate?
Are the Tate brothers? People come. I don't know what it's going to.
Are the Tate brothers twins? Who are the Tate brothers? How old? How tall? Yeah.
There we go. Well, I don't know. Romanian search might come up different. We're a lot more popular here. But my point is, I just want to live an incredible life. Every single day I wake up and everything is possible. That's the goal. And the goal, of course, is to procreate, have a bunch of kids, and that's it. I mean, what more is there to life than just making yourself happy all the time and taking care of the people around you?
Lucas says, would you agree with Andrew regarding boxing being the best martial art to master for self-defense? What's your take on self-defense on the street? People ask this all the time, and very quick answer, because I find this topic very boring. Boxing is the best martial art for self-defense. It is. Don't let anyone tell you jiu-jitsu is. Everyone talks about jiu-jitsu. My friend, I had a debate with a guy who I super respect, John Fitch, who is a more accomplished fighter than me. And he kept saying jiu-jitsu is good for self-defense. I'm like, my friend, I'm from England. Someone is going to stab you. If you try to wrestle somebody, your black belt isn't as good as the blade he's got in his pocket. Stay away from wrestling. I like John Fitch. Super cool guy.
But when he thinks jiu-jitsu is the best like self-defense martial art, absolutely no way, because the world isn't fair. Someone's friend is going to step on your head while you're wrestling with them. That guy's going to pull a knife and stick it into your lung while you're wrestling with him. No, punch, stay on your feet, run away.
Do you both still train on a regular basis?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. It's
often?
part of it's 5 days a week. I mean, it's part of who we are. I mean, right now I've just bought one of those big torque wheel sleds, and he'll jump on it and I'll push him to the end of my garden, which is huge, of course, is where my cars are parked. Then I'll jump on it, he'll push me back, and we'll do that for an hour straight till our legs don't move. I mean, training is just we couldn't ever become weak and fat and soy. It's just not in our DNA. It's never who we've been.
How do you manage to maintain peak physical conditioning? I mean, even though you don't fight competitively still, but how do you manage to maintain that at the level that you both do, but still consume the amount of alcohol and cigars that you do at the same time?
There's, God has his favorites. I don't find it that difficult. I don't find it that difficult, Rich. I
found
really
it difficult to the point where I just stopped drinking. I'm like,
yeah. But you know what? I think it's all about the foundation that you build, isn't it? I've been training my whole life, but from age 14, 15 to 28, I was a professional athlete. That's what I was. So if I ever see myself looking a bit, I don't know, a little bit fat, my face is looking a bit puffy, literally I'll go running every morning for 5 days and then I'm back in shape. It's what my baseline is. So a lot of people fuck around their whole lives. They look like shit when they're 30 because they've never done a day of physical training. Then they get into shape and they're 32. They can lose it like that because their body's still trying to reset to default. My default is different to most people. And that's the only answer. I think it's all the work I've put in my entire life. I feel like it's money in the bank because I don't find it that difficult.
Got a question here from my buddy Jared. He said, would it be better to focus on boxing first, or would boxing and BJJ be worthwhile?
Like, I mean, and don't get me wrong, BJJ is worth knowing. Like, I'm not saying don't learn it. It's worth knowing. And if you have all the time in the world, do as much boxing as you can and do BJJ as well. Sure, it's not gonna have any negative impact on you if you know BJJ. I know judo. It's not going to negatively affect me. I just wouldn't grab a man and wrestle with him if I saw him on the streets of London and he caused an altercation with me because he put a knife in my neck. So I don't advise using it on the street. That's it.
Yeah.
And people teach different. That's what
I've only been taking these boxing lessons for the last year and a bit now, since the lockdown, and I got to say it's like, if you hit somebody, and I play this game, which my instructor calls tag now. So it's 3 shots each, and then you switch over to the other guy, and then you see how many shots you can land. And we're wearing padding and headgear and all that sort of shit. And it's like, man, if you get a nice combo in there, 1, 2, or 3 shots, you can knock the shit out of somebody.
I don't fight anymore in terms of, if I'm at a nightclub, all the best security guards in that nightclub are watching my table.
Right.
Someone comes and talks to a girl who's with me.
Yeah, you don't want to fight if you don't need to.
I'm not interested in fighting. But
yeah, but if you had to, though. But if you had to use your fists, yeah.
It was. I always found it incredibly easy.
Yeah.
From training with professional fighters every day, the few fights I have had in the street, especially when I was younger, living in England, I found it incredibly easy. You jab, cross, and you throw your next punch, and he's already falling over. Like it's very easy if you know how to punch and they don't. It's almost like cheating. If you know how to do it and they don't, it's cheating.
Yeah.
But I don't preach being the tough guy. I don't fight. I'm in Romania. I'll make a phone call. I'll be on my phone.
Yeah, they'll always. Yeah, they often always tell you the best thing to do is to leave. You want to remove yourself from the equation.
What's my phone hand? That's the scary thing. I'm not interested in fighting anymore.
A man once said to me, "You can never have too much of one of these 3 things: sex, money, and horsepower." Is it possible to have too much sex, money, or horsepower?
No. I'd rephrase that though. I wouldn't say sex. I'd say sexual access to beautiful women. It is possible to have too much sex. And I know that because sex used to be my job. When I really had my webcam studio running at its peak and I had mansions filled with women and half of them were my girlfriend, half of them were my brother's girlfriend, and I had to fuck all of them, I'd pile them up 2 or 3 at once. And it was like a chore. And it was a fucking chore. People would be like, oh, that must have been amazing. What dudes who never get laid thinks it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I'm trying to do spreadsheets, payroll, scheduling. Then I've got to go fuck her. This girl doesn't like her, so I need to make her sure she sucks my dick in the BMW outside so the other girl doesn't get jealous. It was a nightmare. And yes, you can have too much sex, but
you can't have too much sex. What about
not
horsepower? Can you have too much horsepower in a car?
We're about to find out. When my Bugatti Chiron shows up, we're about to find out.
Yeah, but that's got all-wheel drive, though. I mean, I'm talking about something a little crazier than that.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, what do you think?
It's probably possible. It's probably possible.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
What
about money? Can you have too much money?
No, you cannot have too much money, but you can have enough money. And I can tell you what I think enough money is.
What is enough money?
I can tell you when I'll stop working. So enough money is you don't even need to reach. I'm at 8 figures now. You don't even need to reach I'm in bank balance. I don't count net worth. I was like, my net worth is this. It's like, bro, you could be a millionaire net worth. You got one house, one car, and 50 grand in the bank and a few stocks and bonds. You're still poor. I know that enough money is when you have in the bank mid-level 8 figures, say $50 million, that's enough. You can do everything. You can do everything. If you're not trying to get into politics or buy power or run for president, you could do everything you want. There's nothing you can do with 50 million that the guy with 200 million, can do and you can't. So that's enough money. Okay. I'm not one of those guys. And people say, oh, when are you going to become a billionaire? One, never. Because most people don't understand how much a billion is.
A billion is a lot of money. People
it's a lot. They don't
stupid
get
amount.
It. So one,
you can't even spend $1 billion in your lifetime. Like most of these billionaires end up giving the money away, charities before they die.
Exactly. And two, if I had the power to become a billionaire, I'd get a quarter of the way there and retire. But what the fuck would I keep working if I had $250 million in the bank?
What does a typical week look like for you guys with work? I'm doing that in quotations because it doesn't look like that you guys work in the conventional sense that most people would think.
My office is when me, Andrew, and my cousin are together and we have our laptops with us or our phones or our iPads. That's my office. So 2 weeks ago, my office was at the Bulgari 5-star hotel in Knightsbridge, London. Now my office is in Bucharest. Next week, my office is going to be in Miami. As long as I'm with my guys and my team and we do what we need to do and move the pieces on the chessboard we need to move, it doesn't matter. A typical week in terms of work.
Do you have other employees or contractors or just 3?
Oh, I have loads of employees. I have 2 personal assistants. And in terms of people who are directly employed by myself or my company, excluding my casinos, because that brings the number over 50. I've got 12, 13 people who work for me. 9 of them have university degrees. That's why I know the number, because I always laugh at that because me and my brother are not university educated. And I don't believe university is a good way of making money. But a typical week is whatever I want to do. We sit around and we literally say emergency meeting, where it's not an emergency. It doesn't have to be an emergency. And we sit around. Hey, Troy, how you doing? So we sit around. And a week before that, my office was in Ukraine when I was sitting smoking cigars with Troy. That's how my life works. I do whatever I like all of the time. That's why I call it God mode. I'm infinitely free.
Do you think that you would stop working even if you didn't need to work? Because I've thought about this. I've thought, what? Even if I'm 60 and I've got all the money I need, like, would I even stop working? Because I don't think I could. I just like doing shit. I
don't know. And it all depends on what you define as work as well. I mean, I engage in projects with war room members that make me a lot of money, and I enjoy doing them. I enjoy the projects. I enjoy what we're doing. I'd quit some things. I would even I'd even probably throw away the OnlyFans management agency, the Webcam girls. I still keep my foot in the door in that industry because it's part of my identity almost. It's what people know me for. But if I had infinite money and I didn't need to make money anymore, I'd keep 3 or 4 of my baddest OnlyFans models and just bring them around the world with me. But that's my team who makes me money, if you know what I mean. But when I say bring them around the world with me, they're obviously paying for my flights and theirs through their work. So this isn't some sugar daddy setup. But yeah, I'd change my adult entertainment setup for sure. I'd have far fewer.
So if tomorrow you woke up and you didn't have the cars, the money, the crypto, the real estate, everything, but you had your network, what would you do to try to get it all back?
Well, I always have that one trick. And people will say, oh, but what if that didn't exist? Well, the thing is, webcam modeling and OnlyFans and all this stuff does exist. I can get a beautiful girlfriend and tell her and manage her and drag $40,000 to $50,000 a month out of thin air. If I concentrate all of my effort on one 10 out of 10 female, and she'll do whatever I say, I can conjure $40,000 or $50,000 a month out of thin air. And that's what I know how to do. That's always going to be my default. I couldn't lose all I have now. That isn't possible. So many things would have to go wrong. But if I did, I'd find a pretty girlfriend and I'd start dragging $50,000 a month out of thin air, and I would build from there.
Is it easy for the average guy to do that, Tristan? Because I've had a conversation with a guy that was in your war room and got involved with the webcam business. He lives here in Toronto, and he didn't have the success that he was expecting. He wasn't upset about it. He wasn't happy about it, but it seemed like he felt, or the way that I understood it, is that because Tristan Tate is who Tristan Tate is, and because he lives where he lives and he has access to the women that he does there, it works. Like, is that reasonable?
No, well, it can't be reasonable, because the Tristan Tate who became a millionaire doing this was poor, and he lived in Luton, England, in a 1-bedroom apartment, and nobody knew who he was. So I mean, can I do it easier now than I did it? Yes, but like with anything, the amount of work that goes in, it's not an easy thing to do. If it were easy, everybody would be doing it. Rich, girls can't do it. This is why girls need people like me. Very few girls, you read about these huge OnlyFans success stories. Most girls' OnlyFans journey goes,
They make no money.
Yeah, start taking some nude
poor.
pictures. All the people at her old office and work in town see her naked for 1 month, unsubscribe. 3 months later, there's content of her all over the internet, and she's broke as fuck. That's everyone's OnlyFans journey. So girls can't even do it. I teach everybody who tries to learn from me the way I do it. Like with Floyd Mayweather, if you went to his boxing gym, would teach you how to box his way. If you don't pull it off, you don't pull it off. And I don't know exactly who you're talking about, but there are guys inside of the war room who have, I mean, there's 2 young kids, 17 and 18 they are. This kid is so young, he couldn't legally post a picture of himself naked anywhere. And he has a bunch of 18, 19-year-old girlfriends, and he's wearing Rolex watches, cashing in $100,000 a month. And that is from what I teach. So I think the main ingredient to it is your frame with women. Are you good with women? Do women respect you? Does your girlfriend respect you? If the answer is no to those questions, you're going to have very, very bad luck telling her to do these kind of things and asking her to do these kind of things. No, it's a hard thing to do.
Another question I got for you here on my list is, I can't remember if this was you or Andrew, but I'm sure that you can answer it, regardless of who it was. There was a tweet at some point. It was something along the lines of a discussion thread where a girl got dumped for liking another dude's picture on Instagram. Can you talk about that?
That may have been Andrew. What, Andrew dumped a girl for liking a dude's picture?
I can't remember whether it was you or him, but the thread was her basically begging to have one of you take her back, and one of you were basically saying, "No, you were liking some other dude's picture on Instagram. I'm not having it."
Well, when we talk about
why you guys kind of roll that way.
Well, we roll that way because it depends what we're looking for. It depends what we're looking for from that woman. Because people will say, "Oh, Tristan, your women are garbage." Blah, blah. I'm like, "Oh, sorry. Do you know who a single one of my girlfriends or baby mamas actually is?" No, you don't know any of them. You've never seen a picture of any of them. So people don't know the type of women that me and Andrew look for. But when I'm looking for something serious, it is very much natural selection, where when you are in the true abundance mindset of you can have the pick of the crop, you can have the world's most attractive women. I mean, one of my main chicks has 200,000 Instagram followers, and I took her virginity when she was 17. That's legal, by the way, here. I don't know if it's 18 in your crazy country. But the level of women I have is insane. So why would I tolerate one red flag? I can't speak for Andrew. But if I'm looking for something serious and I'm weeding out the non-hackers, very much like a military recruitment, the drill sergeant is, why would I tolerate one red flag? Oh, no, she's liking dudes' pictures on Instagram. Okay, cool.
So you have zero tolerance, no red flags whatsoever.
Depending on what I'm looking for.
Absolute loyalty.
If there's a cam girl of mine who's making me money, who I bang sometimes, and she's messaging dudes on Instagram, I'll say, look, stop messaging fucking dudes on Instagram or you're fired, because I don't like that shit. Because if they fall in love with some guy, they'll quit anyway. Mm-hmm. And then, I'm not going to get rid of her for that. She's a business asset. She's an employee who's upset me and broken protocol. But certainly if there was a girl and she was like, yeah, Tristan, I want to have your kids. And I was like, yeah, cool. I'll try and and I was serious about her. Yeah. Liking another dude's pictures. I mean, why would you tolerate that at all? You'd only tolerate that if
guys
you
do, man.
filter them out. They have no choice.
Yeah, I mean, like you probably see them from time to time, but I get these notifications from people or for Reddit, and it's like some losers out there, complaining that his girlfriend's got just a friend that's going to come into town and he doesn't feel good about it. Like you've seen those, right? Guys will tolerate a lot of stuff.
Exactly, but if you really do roll at the top level and you want the best of the best, why tolerate any of it? So I understand.
No liking other dudes' pictures, ladies. If you're with Tristan, he doesn't take that
absolutely.
shit.
Absolutely. Why would you do that?
Exactly. Hey, listen, man, I'm in total agreement with you. Where's my next question? Okay, let's talk about kids and family law and insuring against what I'm going to call family law theft. Because do you have children right now?
Yes, I do. Everyone knows I have children because I openly say I have children. Okay, how many? What are their names? I don't say any of that. But
you're not married though. No. You obviously take care of your kids and like the mother of your kids, right? So how do you buffer from family law theft? Because women can behave quite badly if they decide that they're not happy in the relationship. Sometimes they'll steal your kid, they'll run off with them. There's any number of things that they can do. They can rob you through the family law system, depending on what it's like in your country. So I mean, you've obviously thought about that because you're both clever lads. So how do you insure against that with the way that you've structured your life?
Well, the first step has to be vetting the woman that you have kids with.
That's very important.
That has to be step number one.
Absolutely.
And if a woman hasn't given me
how long do you vet for, by the way?
Years. Oh, it has to be years of loyalty, years of loyal service to the cause before I give her a kid. She has to do everything I say, no red flags, no messaging other dudes, nothing. There can't be a red flag at that level, because you're gonna carry the next generation of my family, and my family wasn't a very financially successful one, but there are some accolades, and my family's well known for some achievements. And if you're going to breed the next generation of Tates, no, you can't be some.
Well, some of the guys watching don't know this, but your dad was a chess master. He was a world champion.
He was the greatest black chess master who ever lived.
Right.
So I mean, there are plenty of chess masters greater than him, but he was very, very feared and very well respected as a chess master. Certainly, never had any money, but I like to think that me and my brother inherited half of his intelligence and used it to make money. I'm not that good at chess. I'm certainly not world level or professional, not at all. Mm-hmm. But I'm good. I'm a strong hobbyist player. But yeah, my point is, if you're going to breed the next generation of Tates, and the one thing above all else, because I don't know if I can say that all night. Well, the one thing, the one thing I'd look for is low body count. Low body count is very, very important. If a girl's fucked 50 dudes and you upset her, what's 51? What's 52? She doesn't give a shit. It doesn't matter anymore. When a girl's had sex, and you don't always find virgins. I have a few that I date, whose virginity I took, of course. But you don't always find girls who are virgins. I'm not saying you can only marry or have kids with virgins. But if a girl's had 2 or 3 serious boyfriends and she's in her early 20s, that's not a bad thing. That low body count is very, very important. Years of loyalty, number 2. But vetting the women is probably the most important thing to avoid family law theft. And also just maintaining a hard line in the sand that you will not cross. And I say to my brother all the time, with any woman, a woman who works for us, a woman who has my kids, any woman, I do not negotiate with terrorists. And that's what women can turn into when they fall out of love with you, when they want to leave you, they turn into terrorists. And I do not negotiate. I swear on my father's grave and the Lord Jesus Christ be my witness. If one of my baby mamas tomorrow was just like, unless you do this or do this, I'm leaving with your kid and blah, blah, blah. I swear to God, I'd be like, you know what? Fine. My kid can find me when they're 16 or when they're 18. They'll track me down and I'll tell them their mom was a dickhead. If you think I'm going to be paying bribes, essentially paying ransom, bending over backwards, sacrificing my pride, my lifestyle, changing the way I live, or she's going to run away, no, I don't negotiate with terrorists. I have my life to live. And my kids when they're adults.
What about the legal system in Romania if she wants to try to milk you for child support alimony or whatever it is they call it over there?
You know what? I don't believe that the legal system is scary anywhere. And people will be like, oh, but if you're an American and this and that and blah, blah. I swear to God, it's a matter of honor. Okay, if I lived in America, me and my brother both live in America. We have exactly the same setup. I get some girl pregnant. I sense a bunch of red flags. I'll give my brother everything I own. I'll give him everything. Send every Bitcoin over, every pound. I'll keep $10 in my bank account. Give him every car on his birthday. Say it was a birthday gift. Oh, well, you know, they're after you and you have to pay child support. No, I don't. I'm poor. Leave me alone. Oh, what's the minimum I have to pay? The state mandated amount. Okay, maybe my brother will lend me the money so I stay out of jail.
It's not as easy as that.
I know it's not. I know it's not.
It's really not as easy as that.
I know it's not.
Yeah,
but I'm more scorched earth. These people will be like, well, and I see it on webcam.
Yeah, you're basically saying burn it down to the ground and get rid of half of it. Then,
yeah. Dudes are on webcam crying their eyes out to my models, paying $5 a minute, going, well, I'd like to meet a nicer girl like you. Not that they ever could, but I can't leave my wife because she'll take half of everything. I
suppose there's a level of a buffer.
I'll go to jail.
Or insurance if you've got, 5 baby mamas with 5 kids, because if one of them goes cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, you can handle that, but you've still got the other 4 sort of thing. So you're sort of not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, almost literally speaking. That's a very good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will not negotiate with terrorists. I'd rather go to jail. And I really do mean that. Take me to jail.
Let's talk about style, because, you got a little bit of a swagger going on. How important is style? Because, did you always dress that way?
No. I've always had trouble finding stylish clothes that fit me. So I started wearing tailored clothes about 3-4 years ago. Tailored suits.
Comes with money, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's expensive, and I'm a very big guy.
It's not that expensive, though. I just had a bunch of shirts and a jacket tailored, and it came to a couple grand, right? It was 4 shirts and a nice sport coat.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
It's not that much, so spend the money, guys.
Yeah, exactly. No, there's nothing wrong. And most tailors will do a pretty good job. I recently, my Romanian tailor wasn't all that. I recently upgraded to a place on Savile Road, London, which is the creme de la creme of tailoring. But even then, I like to dress well. And I spent most of my years in my career, because I was training 5 hours a day, just wearing sweatpants, etc. It was very hard finding anything stylish that fit me. So now I get things made. I dress the way I like. And I think it puts out a good image to the world. It certainly puts out a good image with women, men you want to do business with. I was in Las Vegas recently. I was winning on 000 roulette. God knows how. I don't know how. I was playing 000 roulette. I won $65,000 that weekend. So I was up at the high rollers table. I started to attract a bit of a crowd. I was laying down maybe $600 to $1,500 every single spin. And then some other guy came up who obviously had money, but he was American. He had money because I saw the chips he was laying down were about the same amount as me, but he was wearing shorts, socks, sandals, big fat belly, baseball t-shirt on, cap. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, you're doing good. I was like, you're ruining this for me. Have some respect for the ambiance of the place you're at. And that's a very American thing because, in the casino in Monaco, they're not going to let you in if you're wearing a baseball cap and a baseball t-shirt. Doesn't matter which car you show up in.
You can't walk in with flip-flops there.
Yeah, they'll tell you to go home and get changed. And it annoys me because they're ruining it for everyone else. And it's not that I'm dressing to impress anyone else. It's just nice. It's nice to wear your $10,000 suit and to walk into a casino. I don't know. So, yeah, I like to dress well. But and I said this on Twitter, but if you had nothing but $100 in your pocket and you were trying to make money, buy a cheap suit. Because people will take you more seriously when you start trying to have conversations with them, or if you just have a little bit left, buy something nice to wear because people will take you more seriously. And it's a life hack.
What do you think about this Kyle Rittenhouse situation?
I think America is totally, I don't even care to comment on the American political situation right now. If I was on the jury, I'd let the kid walk yesterday. I'm not on the jury. If he goes to jail for 50 years, I will not be surprised. Because America is broken and I don't want to live there. I don't really want anything to do with the United States. Kyle Rittenhouse, I let him go yesterday. Should he walk free? Absolutely. But will he? Probably not. There's so much pressure on the jurors. They're probably getting blackmailed by weird leftist groups. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
If he goes to jail, I won't be surprised. I'd let him go, but I'm not on the jury.
Is a place like Romania becoming contaminated with those Western woke, toxic feminist, narratives now, or is it still a ways off?
It's a way off. Very slowly.
Women are still feminine. They're still fit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's none of this use my pronouns if you go somewhere.
No, they laugh at things like that. They actively mock the Americans for stuff like this.
Yeah.
And, and it's the sexualities. There was a Romanian man I spoke to. He said something really funny. I was like, yeah, and you could be, I don't know, it's not just gay and straight now. There's 100 different sexualities in the United States. And he was confused by it. And he goes, but there's only 3 sexualities for women and 2 for men. And I was like, two for men. Explain. He goes, well, a woman is straight or gay or bisexual, and a man is straight or gay. I said, can't a man be bisexual? He went, Tristan, if you suck dick sometimes, you're gay. And I was like, I mean,
fair point.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
So here, there's only two sexualities for men. So they're still quite, they're still, level-headed.
Yeah. That's got to be one of the reasons why you guys must have chosen to settle there, because you've lived in the US, you grew up in the UK, you obviously moved around a bit when you were younger, fighting and competing and trying to sort it out. Romania just looked like the best place for you?
No, it's one of the reasons we fit in here. I wouldn't say it's one of the reasons we moved here. I just needed to live somewhere, and I wasn't a millionaire when I moved here. I was doing okay. I was running the webcam models. The scary thing about Western culture was the whole Me Too culture bullshit. I live in a house. I have a bunch of naked women. The police were already knocking my door. The neighbors reported that you have a bunch of women here. I'm like, yeah, I'm a kickboxing champion. Of course I have a bunch of women.
Where was that, in the UK, or was that
in the UK? The UK. Yeah. I was like, yeah, of course I have a bunch of women. I'm a kickboxer. They're all my girlfriends. Oh,
the UK's cucked. Okay. I mean, it's really just as bad as the United States and Canada.
Bro, yeah, they'll call the police on you because you have 7 or 8 women in your house. I'm like, I'm a young man. I like having women in my house. And the police would leave. But I was like, this isn't the place for a business like this to flourish. It really isn't. And, we discovered Romania by accident. And all of this is just happenstance. The fact that they're more, conservative, they have more conservative values. It's one of the most Christian countries in the world. Everyone here is a Christian.
What about level. What about their handling of this whole beer bug COVID-19 sort of thing? Like, are they locking things down?
A little bit because they take money from the European Union. They literally faked a huge number of cases, took money from the European Union, and then the European Union said, "Oh, you have to lock people down now because your COVID's running rampant." And it wasn't, but they took all the money and pocketed it. I mean, that's the way Romanian politics works. So they try to lock people down, but also, there's ways of doing things in Romania. I'll just say there are ways of getting things done.
Yeah, there's a black market for everything.
Yeah, I am fully vaccinated. 2 doses Pfizer.
Proof of vaccination is not the same thing as vaccination, right?
Well, I have a certificate that says that a medical professional has vaccinated me.
That's all you need. That's all you got to show them.
Yeah. So of course it's real. Of course.
Let me ask you one last question before we wrap up. So, if you could go back to your 20-year-old self and have a conversation with him today, what would you tell him? What would you tell him to do differently? To stop doing, to do more of, maybe?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm a big believer in, if you're happy where you are now, don't change the smallest thing about the past. I mean, obvious shit. I mean, Fantasyland, buy Bitcoin. I mean, pure Fantasyland.
Yeah, setting that aside, obviously.
Yeah, no, but then also, would that kid who bought Bitcoin at 20 and just got rich with crypto like a bunch of these nerds on the internet be the man who I am today? No, he wouldn't be. So would I even say that to him? Probably not. I don't know. I don't know. Talk to your dad more, maybe. But then, who knows what would have? Maybe I would have got off the phone to him one day and got hit by a bus. I wouldn't change anything. And that sounds very arrogant, but I'm so happy with the way things are in my life now that I wouldn't change a single thing.
If you could account one thing for your success, what would you say that thing would be?
Well, my brotherhood with Andrew, the relationship me and Andrew have, always having someone to check yourself against. I can't stay in bed till 11 o'clock, and neither can Andrew, because I'm up at 8:30. And I'll say, Andrew, why the fuck are you asleep? Let's get up and train. So always having that guy to check yourself against. Both me and Andrew have that. And also, and I'm going to sound like a 1980s television commercial, I will preach to all you young people watching, stay away from fucking drugs. I grew up in Luton, which is a shithole in England, which is riddled with drugs. Everyone's on cocaine, everyone's on weed, and there's going to be this guy in the chat right now. He's going to pop up. But you drink, I smoke weed, and weed's healthy, and it blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something about weed. Here's the problem with weed, though. Weeds, and I know lots of high-functioning people who smoke it, but weed makes you happy when you shouldn't be. The friends I had when I was 18 who used to smoke weed and play their PlayStation 2 and eat pizza, that's a good night if you're on weed. I used to sit there after kickboxing training thinking, this is fucking shit. I need to make some money. I need to get out of this situation. And those same people, and I still love you if you're watching me where I am today, but you're still playing PlayStation. Well, it's PlayStation 5 now instead of PlayStation 2, and smoking your weed and eating your pizza, and you're still broke, and you're my age. It makes you content. That's the problem with drug use. I'm not saying it's going to give you a heart attack. I'm saying it makes you content and it makes you happy when you're in a shitty situation. I've seen people take cocaine and have the time of their lives in somebody's kitchen.
So what you're saying is
you're in a kitchen,
being overly comfortable in a world where you shouldn't be comfortable.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you're either growing or dying, right?
Exactly. So stay away from drugs. I'll tell every youngster, stay away from drugs. And everyone always attacks me for that. But
I think I have a few more questions here. We got a couple.
I thought you were going to ask me about the Goldman, God pill, this, that, religious
okay, so
stuff,
let's talk about the gold pill, Goldman pill, the Roosh Goldman pill, whatever.
Because everyone's trying to rope me into the same little group because I said I converted to Christianity. But I could talk about this very briefly. Goldman and Roosh especially. I don't know anything about Goldman. I don't even know, like, he's a name that's been thrown around.
I met him once over a couple of days at a conference I shall not mention, but yeah.
Fair enough.
I know Goldman.
So I don't know him, but I've heard of Roosh, and he looks to me, and I read his old stuff after he did this whole Christian breakdown nonsense, and he's the biggest nerd I've ever even heard of. And the problem with these God pill guys is what you have to understand is, if you have no objective, if you're out chasing pussy, if you have no objective, it's never going to end well, because all that's going to happen is you're going to stop being successful. Now, he preaches that he was successful. He's one of the biggest fakers in the world, because a man at my level has read some lines like, when you make $2,000 a month, there's no real upper limits in a place like Ukraine, and you can do everything and meet the best girls. Wrong. The best clubs in Ukraine, if you want to be hanging around the top girls, you're paying 10 grand a night. You just
I think Roosh lived in Ukraine at one point.
Yeah, I know he did. Exactly. And he was preaching that even though he was broke, he could do the best things and meet the best girls. I know that's not true.
Yeah.
I live next to Ukraine. I go to Ukraine. You want to go to the place where the mafia bosses hang out and all the tens, you're paying 10 grand a night. And you need to know people too. So Roosh was always a nerd, bottom feeding, picking up low-level chicks. So the problem with God Pill is this. He never had an objective. He'd write his stupid books, have his little bit of mediocre sex with his mediocre women. And when that failed, his life crumbled. You see, someone like me, who did say that he converted to Christianity. I did say this on Twitter about a year and a half ago. Keep in mind, most people.
Why did you make that announcement? Like, what did you convert from? Was it?
Well, I was an atheist. I was never religious.
Okay.
I was
never, but why did you all of a sudden adopt that as a religion at this age now?
Well, I'm living in the most Christian country in the world, and I see that Christian,
yeah.
and I see that Christianity holds society together very, very well. Here, beautiful women walk the streets at night at 3 a.m. And even the gangsters I know are like, oh, I don't want to hurt another Romanian. No, this is God's country. And I'm like, you know what? I like that. I respect that. And it also keeps other groups that may be more hostile to the West outside of this country because they're naturally hostile to outsiders. So I converted to Christianity. But for me, it's no big deal because me, being the playboy, always had an objective. Objective one, collect women, have all these beautiful women, put them to work, make millions of dollars. Objective two, take the beautiful women I like the most or collect more, have a bunch of kids, and be happy with my big families. Like, I have objectives. So the moment I can't get laid anymore, the moment my dick stops working, the moment that Roosh and Goldman and all these nerds get to, he's now a broke old man with no kids who love him living in Ukraine where women don't want to have sex with him.
I think he's in Washington, D.C. now.
God, okay, fair enough. My apologies. But,
even worse.
I don't actually, I'm not his fan. I don't actually follow him, believe it or not.
Yeah. No, clearly,
but my point, the moment my dick doesn't work, oh no, I'm living in my 13, I'm building a castle right now. I'll be living in my castle with my 20 children and 40 grandchildren as a true, and people use this word patriarch because they've got one wife and a few kids. I'll show you motherfuckers patriarch. I'll show you family man Twitter. Give me 20 years. I'll be the fucking family guy because I'll have 9 families.
If I'm still around, we will have a conversation then again,
Absolutely. My friend. But don't ever rope me in with the God pill guys, man, because I have objectives and I'm too smart to ever.
No, the thought didn't even cross my mind. Like, I was talking to Andrew about this a couple of weeks ago when he made the announcement about the LT Spider, and I said to him, I go, you guys are running life not even on as a unplugged alphas. I mean, you're basically at a level of alpha god. And there's a book by this author. You'd actually like it. I know that. I get a vibe for your style now. The guy's name is Dr. Hector Garcia, and the title of the book is Alpha God. You might want to check it out because it kind of like falls in line, with the idea of running your life the way that you are. It's got some feminist narrative crap in it, everything modern does. But one other question. who do you and Andrew look to for mentorship? Because every top shelf man that I know, it doesn't matter if it's a fighter, an entrepreneur, whether they're have 100 million or $1 billion. Like, who do you guys use as your mentors? Who do you guys turn to?
I don't. For a long time after my father died, we didn't have anyone who we looked to for knowledge and information, which I think is detrimental to any man. I think everyone has to have people to look up to.
Yeah, you need somebody to rope you in a little bit, right?
Exactly. When Andrew built the War Room Network, it originally started as just because Andrew kept getting banned online as a place where Andrew could speak freely and talk about ideas, etc., without the risk of getting banned. That's why the War Room was started. But the talent of some of the people who were attracted to that group helped grow it into what it is today. And I have mentors inside of the War Room. Certainly, one of the guys, I'm not going to say his name here, but one of the guys who's integral in the running of the War Room, I look up to him as close to a father figure as maybe exists and will ever exist for the rest of my life. In terms of business, I have people inside the War Room who are 20 times richer than I am if I want to ask business questions about things I don't understand. So I have uncle figures. Let's not call them father figures. I have uncle figures, certainly within the War Room. A lot of guys who I like and a lot of guys who I respect. But there's no one who everybody will know as a generic guy who I'll say, yeah, I really look up to this person. Because I look at people my own age a lot of the time, and I feel like for a 33-year-old man, I've fucking cracked it. I really have. Call me arrogant.
Yeah, you're in the top 1% easily.
Call me arrogant. Call me whatever you like. But I don't know a single man my age who came from where I came from who's living even half as I don't know how you want to put it. As well as me. Let's just say as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of what we know about you and then what we don't know about both you. But it's like there's no arguing that you've done something significant with your life. Like all these guys that are out there, they rent their cars or they rent their girls and blah blah blah.
I rent 28 cars.
Yeah, like game knows game. Like guys like me can figure out guys like the Tate brothers. They're legit from that angle. It's good to hear that you've got mentors, because a lot of guys out there probably think right now, well, these guys, they probably don't have mentors. And there's a part of success that needs to be understood where you have to, and it's not always a coach. It might be somebody that you collab with. It might be somebody that you work with or do business with, but you need a sober second thinker so that you don't walk into areas of your life that might be potentially hazardous. Right?
Exactly. So yeah, hopefully it will everything will keep going well.
Let me take you to task with one last thing here, because
sure.
Whenever I mention something like it happened last time when I dealt with Andrew, there's always a couple of guys that pop in, and I got this comment here on my community page talking about why do him and his brother think it's okay to rip off men and sell them crypto Forex courses that are complete scams and refuse to refunds when called out? Blah blah blah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
How do you deal with guys like that?
I don't know, and then there are guys who are selling our courses or selling fake courses under our names on hundreds of different Instagram pages that I see all the time. All I know is in our Hustlers University program, we have crypto rooms, Forex rooms, freelancing rooms, etc. And we have a professor for every single room, someone who's usually from the War Room, a War Room member who's in charge of all of this. And if thousands and thousands of people, like with the webcamming that you were saying earlier, if thousands of people every single day are writing good things about me and thanking me and say, Tristan, thanks for showing me how to run webcam girls. Tristan, I made this crypto call because I learned it in Hustlers University. I learned it inside the room. I made so much money. And one guy, it's probably the same guy, whoever's typing, because I can't see the messages. It's the same guy who probably typed it on your conversation with Andrew. It's the same guy who probably emails the support all the time. Yeah. It's probably one guy or two guys, the same person. I don't know why you're mad or what you did wrong, or if you went rogue with a crypto trade and 100 times leveraged when it was supposed to be 10. I don't know what you did, but everyone beside you is happy. So that's how I deal with you. I deal with them by not acknowledging them.
Yeah,
it's
so just a matter of fact that whenever you put yourself out there, you're going to deal with somebody that's not going to be. I always have somebody like every few months that leave my community, and they're like, they make an announcement when they leave. I had somebody a couple of weeks ago. They make an announcement. It's like, you don't give us the cheat codes and tell us how to do the work. You just say do the work. It's like, if I have to spell it out for you, then this isn't the room for you. Okay,
exactly.
You can go somewhere else.
Yeah, and that's why me and Andrew relentlessly kick people out the War Room. And
you guys throw them out from time to time, don't you?
We go through the list of the members. What has he done? What did he say when he joined? How's his life progressed? Has he done any of this? Well, we told him this. Has he taken
Accountability.
action? We kick loads of people out.
Mm-hmm.
And of course they're going to come here and type, well, you don't do refunds. One, I don't need your money. Two, I don't know why I kicked you out, but you deserved it. So kiss my ass. If you want your money, and me and Andrew say this all the time, you know where I live. I'm in Bucharest, Romania. You want your money back, come take it. Me and Andrew will all happily meet you. Go right ahead. But that's it. That's my response to every single one of them. And it's Andrew's too. So fuck this guy.
All right, Tristan.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for carving out that time. It's been a slice. I know there's lots of nuggets here that have come out of the conversation, and I'm sure that we'll do this again.
Absolutely. Thanks, Rich.
People should find you on Twitter. You got your handle there?
Yep, I got my Twitter handle here. Any information you guys want on the War Room or my Hustlers University program that is for people who aren't quite ready for a business network yet, but just looking to make some money on the side. All the information is on my Twitter page. It's on my Beacons page in my bio. So yeah, check me out there. Also check out my brother @ofwudan is my brother, OFWUDAN. And yeah, that's where to find me. So keep watching. I've always got something interesting to say.
All right, thanks, guys. So I got another one scheduled for next Thursday, and I've got Greg O'Gallagher from Kino Body scheduled. So that should be an interesting conversation. We'll see you guys then. Thanks, Tristan.